Just days after promoters lost control of Zee Entertainment, 3 directors resigned, with 2 of them citing related party loans and film advances, amongst other issues. Sajeet Manghat is standing by to take us through the issues that were flagged and the company's responses to them. Sajeet, it works until it stops working. That's the old adage, right? And everybody said that about Zee Entertainment. The going was smooth, no issues coming up. Suddenly, the going got rough, and now you're seeing issue after issue coming up. What is it that has happened? What is the Zee response been on that?
The thing is that couple of things have already been brought out in the public domain by disclosures by the Zee management as part of the earnings conference or notes to the financials. We saw this happening at least 2 quarters back, where as part of the notes they have spoken about how much money they have advanced for film and other, and this is something which was even the analysts raised it with the Zee management. But it seems that it's slightly beyond that because there are some more issues which were not brought to light, like the deposits, FX deposits which were taken over by one of the scheduled banks, or letters sent by scheduled banks to all the board of directors, or for that matter PMS raising a red flag on some of the transactions, related party transactions. These were not brought to the thing. So it's coming out when you have now institutional investors taking charge of the board of Zee and bringing in some kind of governance standards. Now you have government of Singapore, or Monetary Authority of Singapore in it. You have Oppenheimer in it. These are some of the funds which rely very heavy on corporate governance. And when that happens, if you have a board which hasn't taken any measures, people have to go, and that's what it seems is this the stepping down of Mr. Chandra from executive position to non-executive position, or for that matter stepping down of 2 independent directors and 1 non-independent director, which is there. We had Sunil Sharma and Neharika Vora, who were independent directors, and we have Subodh Kumar, who was a non-independent director. Now, Subodh Kumar, being a non-independent director, has also cited the reasons of related party advances, not proper use of CSR funds. All those are some of the issues. So, if I take you down through the issues which have been raised, they're talking about film advances given to 2018-19 to the tune of 2,200 crores. And this is something which raised eyebrows from analysts as well, because you are blocking in a lot of capital for content, and Zee at that point in time said that it's mainly meant for ZEE5 because they were trying to create a content library for ZEE5 for movies and web episodes and everything. So that was one concern which was raised 2 quarters back, and the stock did see a negative reaction because of that coming in. Scheduled Bank had appropriated 200 crores of company's fixed deposit towards promoter loans. Now Zee, this is not which was disclosed, but now Zee is saying that we have taken care of it, we have secured it, the promoter companies have now secured that, so it's no longer an issue. That's what Zee is saying. There's allegation of laxity in spending of CSR funds. Now there's no specific instances being cited here, but Zee is saying that they have followed the rules there. Scheduled Bank has written to all the directors into October 2019. Now, if that is the case, then they should have informed, as part of the earnings release, that such a case has happened. Bank writing to board of directors saying that there is issues is a serious one, and it should have been disclosed, but it's not been disclosed. But because the bank is saying that the subsidiary of the company had guaranteed repayment of certain loans given by the bank to a related party. So it's a promoter linked party whose loan has been guaranteed by a subsidiary of Zee. Again, those things have to be disclosed as part of the related party if there is any. It hasn't done. And then they are saying a letter received by the PMS entity holding preference shares of the company, raising questions regarding build-up of related party balances and advances for content acquisition. So pretty much many of them are in the public domain, but some of them, the gravity of these have not been put out properly.
I wonder, Sajeet, if the street in all its wisdom, I'm talking purely now from the stock perspective, the street in all its wisdom now starts questioning the cheap valuations versus the possibility of disclosures coming out which are not necessarily completely known, and that having a bearing on what could happen to the stock price as well. So on one side you have the pull of a well-performing company in the past available at cheap valuations. On the other side, you now have this bogey of what if some other disclosures come out in the near future which might have an impact on the price.
See, there's a change in management from point of view of shareholding. You still have promoter group representation on the board, but equally you have a bigger say by the institutional investors.
Sure.
Now, if that is going to happen, there will be a increased scrutiny, especially audit of all the transactions which have been done. And there could be some kitchen sinking which also will be done.
Could be, yeah. Remember, we are not saying it will be, but could be.
Could be done. Now, it's but natural that when you have institutional players coming in, there is a cleanup that happens. The Indian entertainment industry is not as black and white. So there is some opacity which is there, and some kind of transactions have to be done in terms of content and other stuff, or you create multiple entities to create content. All those things are done, but how much of that would be acceptable to institutional investors or the new board? It's something which we need to look at it. But having said that, so this it's not new.
Sure.
The big one, which is 2,200 crores, is not a new one. It's been disclosed. Now, in hindsight, it looks like that it was brought up on the board, and the board pressurized the management to disclose it as part of the earnings release.
Got it.
So that is now coming into 4/4. Until the time you had the promoters in running the ship of the board, it was fine. Now the institutions are coming in.
And therefore, there's
this deviation which is there, and people are resigning.